Hello lovely humans, this is Riki from rikilikemagic and Shibby says hi. Welcome back to my comment reading segment. Today I am reading your comments that were under my video for the Dynamite breakdown video that I did of BTS. What a fun video to make. That was actually class. So your comments were wonderful as always. There's actually not a lot to get through. There's just some lovely spotlights and some very general comments. A couple of things like to think about and to cover. I really like doing these videos because it's a little nice recap or listening for a second to your feedback. So let's just get straight to it then. I do a general thing, so like kind of the most popular comments that were written repeatedly, we talk about that, and then if there's any debates or arguments that come up, we talk about that, and then we do spotlight comments, which is like particular comments from you guys that stood out that I thought was interesting. Again, like we try and keep this as unbiased as possible, but what I say in this channel is that it's always biased, so I am choosing these comments. However, I hope it gives kind of a round picture of what's happening, you know? However, it's always through the filter of my mind, so it's my way of viewing the world, if that makes sense. Moving on. So we're going to start with the fact that I watched and broke down the VMA performance versus the dance practice that came out. And I have a comment actually that I'm going to put up here from Sua, who said RIP on the timing. Thank you, because yes. And it was just a horrific moment for me when the dance practice came out and I was like, are you kidding me? I just filmed me talking about the VMAs and I was just like, not going to stress about it, not going to get anxious because I did it, it's done now, so I'm just going to do what I can. And we didn't get copyrighted, which is really nice. But yes, I didn't watch the fecking dance practice. And I hear you, and the dance practice was so different to the VMAs. However, it was interesting. There was also this back and forth over I prefer the dance practices or I prefer when they're performing live or performing in front of an audience. I find that very interesting because we all have our favorites. And while I love a wide shot for a dance practice just to see the dance, I actually really like watching BTS in particular doing live performances because all of their little extra bits of the way that they perform for people comes out that wouldn't come out in the dance practice. But I'm sad that I didn't watch the dance practice because the dance practice was so different and so much clearer, and actually all the issues that I had while watching the VMA performance, for example, I didn't think their arms were very clear. I didn't see a lot of clarity in the arms and I thought it was a bit sloppy and things. Gone in the dance practice. Just gone. I was watching the dance practice going, oh, literally we have no issues here. Like just none whatsoever. So that was annoying. And yeah, there was a lot of footwork that was missed that you guys kept saying as well. There's like this footwork that was missed in the dance practice that you can't see in the VMAs. And I mean, you get different things from different contexts, you know, and at least I did see a lot that I loved, you know, and I was able to say, they filmed it quite well, you know, they did film it quite well. However, what they didn't film well, this is another thing that kept coming up in your comments, was the rotating section around Suga. Completely lost in the VMA section. That was a lovely part, and actually one of your favorite parts choreography wise was that rotating section and seeing them all like pace themselves differently to go around. And I really enjoyed that bit when I saw it in the dance practice because me in particular, I liked the change of levels to keep Suga in shot. So like they have to like duck underneath him to make sure that his torso is seen while he's still performing. I really enjoyed that. One never goes in front of the person who's performing and the person who's singing. That's just not done because then you cross over them, you block them. So it was kind of a lovely thing to watch them not block him and still making this really satisfying shape. So missed that in my watching. But you know, I'm not going to continuously self-flagellate and whip myself because it's done and it'll be grand. I'm still really happy with the video and really happy with the engagement you guys like gave and let me know. But that was a general comment, is like a lot changes in the dance practice, Riki, so like watch that and you'll find new things. And I did, and that was really annoying. Also, just kind of in general, a lot of you guys were talking about how joyful this dance was, how it helped you and how it kind of you know, made you feel happy in these crappy times, and I really liked that. To be honest, I wasn't as much of a fan of the song at the beginning. Obviously, watching it over and over again and listening to it over and over again, it was a grower. Like, now I get super, super happy when I hear it, because it's this fun, sweet, lively dance that's just it. Yeah, I thought it was a very good decision of theirs to make, to put something out like that during this time. So yes, joy, dance is about joy and fun, which, I mean, I am all about the joy and fun, so how can I not like that? So we're done with the general comments. I'm going to move on to the spotlight comments. There's a good few, actually, more than the general comments. We're going to start with Min Meow. How are you, Min Meow? And thank you so much for your comment. So, Min Meow, you got me on this. You pulled me up on me not talking about Suga, not talking about Yoongi during my dance breakdown, and I fully and completely hear you, and I loved your comment highlighting his best points for me. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And basically what happens with me is that there's a downside to this energy that I have. I get really overexcited, and I get quite overwhelmed when I get overexcited. So what I tend to do is just my brain suddenly turns into 5 different scattered points, and I can't really focus on one thing. They all did a good job, and I actually, while editing, noted a couple of things I really liked Suga doing in the dance. I really liked what Suga did in the dance that I didn't talk about in the breakdown because I got so overexcited. I genuinely just go somewhere and I find it very difficult. You know, you guys know me, I talk like 100 miles a minute and I just get super blah. So then when I was editing and I was much calmer, there was a bunch of times where I was like, I really like what Suga did there. I should have mentioned that. I really like what he did there. I should have mentioned that. But you did it for me, Min Meow, so thank you so much. They say when they transition at 21:30, Yoongi does a really nice and clear body roll, smoothly puts his arms in the air, and then does the sweep of the hands over the hair move, which you really like. And then we're going to move on because it's quite a long comment, but thank you for the really long comment. I read it all. The other part that I like from Yoongi, other than his little solo in the rotating section, which was really great, is at 25:49. You mentioned that, so talking about me, you mentioned that you liked how aggressively Jimin does the move when they stand up in progression, and I agree, but I also really like how aggressively Yoongi does it, and specifically how he punches his arm a little higher in the air every time to the beat. I saw this when I was editing and I remember really liking it. It was such a nice level change. I saw the punches suddenly when I was editing and I was like, I actually almost like that as much as Jimin's really aggressive kind of chest hitting at that point. So thank you for repping Suga during this video. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, lol. Don't get me wrong, I love your videos, Ricky. Thank you. I just also love Yoongi's dancing and I wish people would appreciate it more. Thank you so much. Like, thank you for this comment. And it's not a TED Talk. Like, we've had essays on this channel and I love the essays. And thank you for also being so respectful in the critique you gave in that comment, because essentially you were saying like you weren't happy with the fact that I didn't mention him and I didn't appreciate his dancing, and that's not true. I do appreciate his dancing, I just didn't mention it. I really appreciate the kind of kindness in this comment, because you're not quite happy with something that I did, however you took it upon yourself to change that and to make a stamp on it. And I think this is the most liked comment under my video. So I just think that's the way to do it, is to not tear me down or not like be super nasty. Just be like, hey, I think I want this, so I'm gonna be responsible for it. And I just wanted to highlight that. I really appreciate that. And I also see everything that you said. That's the way I think we all need to be talking to each other, is that like, you can be kind and still call someone out on something that rubbed you up the wrong way. So appreciate it. Appreciate you. Next comment is Sarah. Hello, Sarah again. Sarah, I just thought this was a really interesting comment because you were giving some behind the scenes info on this video, which I really appreciated. So Sarah says, yes, I love this dance. I have nothing smart to say, just some thoughts. These are smart. You are correct in your assumption. The guys have said that the aim was for this dance to be easy enough for people to follow along with in their bedrooms. I can't remember which video they said that in, but it really stuck with me. Their specific goal with Dynamite is to cheer people up in a really crappy time, and part of that is making the choreo easier than usual so everyone can do it. I just think that's a lovely sentiment. And something else that they said at the end of the comment was, Ari, the background, the green screen stage was their plan B because of the heavy rains in Korea. Originally they were going to be outside, presumably presumably with an actual cityscape behind them. It's not my favorite either, but they had to make it work. Thank you. Didn't know either of these things. I think that was in response to, in my video, I said a lot of the chorus parts of this dance was very easy, like stuff that you can immediately do straight off the bat. And I was talking about that in the sense that I didn't like that as much. Then I said I totally understand if this is something that they want their fans to be able to do very quickly and easily and to kind of feel connected. And so that was the aim, apparently, is to make this fun and accessible and light-hearted and easy to connect with in such a kind of complex time and crappy time. So thank you for that. And then also, I couldn't handle the background of this video. I mean, I could focus enough on the dance, especially when I had to talk about it in that video, but when I watched it the first couple of times, I was like, too much. It was intense. So, but if that was a plan B, then that's much more understandable, because usually they don't have such a noisy background for their work. So appreciate you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Next comment, spotlighting, is Smile for Me. Hello again, Smile for Me. You say something really interesting here, which stuck out to me because I felt quite similarly, but maybe we can have a discussion about it in circle time. They say, okay, hi, circle time. When they do that set of movement that Riki doesn't like that much, you know, the one which Jimin and JK shared? Yeah, that one. When they open and close their hands, I notice it doesn't look like they open and close their hands the same way each and every time they open and close their hands. Am I tripping? You understand what I mean, yeah? It's like they do different shapes with their hands when they're open and they close back to a fist always, but when open, each and every hand gesture looks different. So I'm guessing they're doing it to put in more texture. Question mark, question mark. I don't know if it makes sense or I'm seeing things, but BTS is class enough to even plan out how they open their hands and close them to make it subtly different. So fight me on this one, please, because I'm really not sure. Yes, I saw this too. It was another reason why I found the arm movements kind of hard to follow and not as clean, because even though this is a very simple movement, their hands were really different. Each member's hands were really different. So whether that is choreographed, which would be strange to make 7 of them do it completely differently, then it mightn't be choreographed, and it might be that they were told to do something textural with their hands but not set. Like they didn't set it all together. They just went, and then you close it on this beat and you open it on this beat, or you open to close, ta 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 ta. So then obviously they all have different, everybody has different hands. So that they're going to open and close it maybe bigger or smaller, or like curl the fingers more, things like that, and they just develop their own idiosyncrasies. So I thought this was such an interesting comment because I saw that too. I was like, is it supposed to be a particular set of hands? Because everyone is doing different hands. So I'm not going to fight you on that, Smile for Me. Instead, I'm going to agree with you, and I'd love to hear what other people see or don't see or think or don't think about that. Thank you so much for your comment. My next spotlighting comment is My Dude. Hello, My Dude, and thank you so much for this comment. It was lovely and long. I'm going to choose 2 sections of it, particularly around Jimin and then also the background, which I found really interesting. They say, despite you stating that this review came before the dance practice was released, I almost wish you'd also reviewed that one as well, if anything, but for hearing what you had to say about Jimin's move at 123 in the dance practice. So this is in the dance practice video. In the VMAs, he just steps forward and does some posed hand movements plus expressive singing, but in the dance practice, it's like an it boy pose. Like, it's a pose. It's such a statement. There's a kind of playful androgyny in it that makes it so Jimin. It's not a move I think many other male idols could pull off. So I didn't know what you were talking about, and I checked the dance practice again, and then I watched 123 in the dance practice like 4 times, because that was a beautiful mix of pose movements moment for Jimin. Like, thank you for pointing that out to me, because I wouldn't have like remembered it otherwise. And yeah, I totally see what you mean about the playful androgyny. I don't know if I can put up that section here in the video, guys, so if you want to check the dance practice yourself at 123, it's really cool. And he does these beautiful set of poses, but the first bit that he goes into, the first moment he goes into in the dance practice is so over the top dramatic and almost this weird in the middle between masculine and feminine. Again, we've talked about that, what does that mean? But there is this androgyny in it, and the way he holds it, he really looks over his shoulder and then does all these extra movements. It's so fun. So thank you for pointing that out to me, and I'm also sorry I didn't get to talk about the dance practice. And then moving on to, also, I know this is not necessarily a meta-analysis channel, but there's something to be said about the entire performance taking place in NY, in New York, and then opening up to Seoul at Jimin's stomping for the final chorus. Like, Insert commentary about showing their capital in an American performance during their first English single here. It's their roots on national television. Almost like saying, don't forget we're Korean performers to the folks who suddenly started praising them for an English track. Very cool. Did totally get goosebumps. Man, my dude, I did not know, did not see that, did not get that when it opens up at the sugar punching part and the Jimin stomping part, that's soul that it opens up to. Class, thank you. I am so bad at like meta-analysis or like seeing the greater context meaning in things. I think it's amazing when channels do that. So thank you for your mini meta-analysis moment. That's kind of it for the spotlight comments, but we're going to move on to 2 extras, like random points that I just want to talk about or say or mention today. The first one is from Nassim, and Nassim, hi again. So you're a regular commenter under my videos, and you do, I'm gonna put it up here, you do write a beautiful comment about the whole breakdown, but what I want to focus on is you tell me how to pronounce your second name, and I was so freaking delighted about this. So I'm gonna try now. This is me embarrassingly trying on camera, putting it up to public. So they say, and by the way, since you asked, you pronounce my first name perfectly. Okay, Nassim. Okay, thank you very much. The last name is Tan, like Bangtan. So I'm going to try Tan. And Ha, like in umbrella. Well, kinda. That vowel doesn't exist in English. It's more like in Korean, but one should also pronounce the H. Thank you for asking how to pronounce my name. I really appreciate it. Thank you for telling me and giving me a little tutorial. So I'm going to try. I'm going to give myself 3 attempts. You're going to tell me which one was the best. And then we're going to move on. And I'm going to really apologize if I mess up every time from now on. But I'm going to really try. And I wish you were here so that I could hear it. Because I'm much better with hearing something than reading something. So let's go. Nassim... Nassim Tanha? Nassim Tanha. Tanha. I did it like 40 times there. But you get the gist. Let me know how that was. I love that you told me how to pronounce your name. Names are super important to me. They mean a lot. They're something you attach memory and emotion to over time. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. So thank you so much for your wonderful comments. Thank you for engaging with me so beautifully. Thank you for respectfully working through ideas with me. I am about to start a string of new breakdown videos that are coming from my patrons. So my patrons have suggested about, I'd say 10 new videos that I promised I would get through over time, but look forward to them. So my lovely humans, if you enjoyed this video, you can like, you can subscribe, you can ring the little bell that gives you all the notifications, you can share it with your friends, and you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Remember, you are who you choose to be, and you're part of something bigger and deeper than yourself. And Shibby says bye. Yeah.